You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. Thanks for tuning in. I'm telling you, if you have questions about what's really going on with culture, knowledge, education system, tools, and technology at Keller Williams, call those people that don't have ownership stake, but they do profit share, so they are going to tell you how it works and why it works for them. And there's a lot of ways to do real estate. Speaking of a lot of ways to do real estate, I got Michael Maher, as always, from PrimeLending on the phone. Hi, Michael.
Russ, how's it going?
It's going great. I mean, here we are. We're moving out of COVID, hopefully. We're starting to open up, starting to be that old free country again, and hopefully less and less people getting sick. So I'm excited about this summer. Hey, we were off air. We were talking about a couple things where we all know that the prices are not getting, I wouldn't say they're going down, would you? I mean, I'm seeing some strange stuff out there. So, you had mentioned jumbo loans. And so I thought maybe we could just touch on that. We kick these terms around in real estate, and we do it every day, so we know. But let's pretend we're talking to somebody that has no clue what a jumbo loan is. How would you describe it?
Yeah, so a jumbo loan, and this is a very important factor of this, is a loan amount that goes in. It's typically in Chelan and Douglas County or the surrounding areas. The maximum loan amount for a standard, conventional, conforming loan is going to be $548,250. So if you go $1 over that on your loan amount, you are now in what's called jumbo territory. And I want to make sure that that's clear, is it's actually the loan amount, not the purchase price. So if you buy a $750,000 house and you put $200,000 down and you're under that $548,250, then you're not in jumbo. It's just going off that loan amount. And what that means to someone who's looking at wanting to purchase a home, if they don't have enough to bring it under that loan amount to keep it not jumbo, is basically just some stricter guidelines. Credit score, reserves, which is just money in the bank. It comes down to debt to income ratios. There's a few products in the jumbo territory that have some stricter guidelines that you have to adhere to in order to get qualified. And it's important, if you're in that realm, to be working with a lender that has a lot of experience with jumbo, because it can quickly become a lot more than people expect. And often they're not the same as a conforming loan, and the guidelines are much stricter. So it's good to have someone that can navigate those guidelines with you so that you can make sure that your approval sticks and that you can end up with the house.
Right. And there are some creative options if you're on the bubble, right? If you're right on that edge. What I love about what PrimeLending does, you and Sharon Crockett, you both will look at somebody's goal, and there's sometimes more than one way to do it, right?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, you could look at the down payment. Maybe they were going to put in 40% down or 50% down. You can do 20% instead, and vice versa, right? So sometimes that loan amount if you can, it's wise to stay under the jumbo loan amount if it's possible.
Yeah, it makes things a lot easier if you can. And like you said, to touch on the creativity, we do offer some second loan options for people. So if you came in with X number of dollars and you didn't have the remainder, you can actually get a second loan. And there's guideline restrictions on that, but that's been relatively popular in this area too, to help buy down that first loan so that you're not in jumbo territory. And then the guidelines stay pretty a lot more lenient as far as other than going into jumbo.
Yeah, so you could maybe be creative if you're right on that bubble of the jumbo amount, which was like right around 515,000. You could go
548.
548. Okay, so right around that number, you could maybe get a $500,000 first and a $100,000 second, and maybe close them simultaneously.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
exactly, and it works. It's very popular.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the word creativity, some people think it's a negative word, but it's not. All I look at creativity is knowledge, right? What is creative to somebody is normal to somebody else that has the knowledge and is versed in it. So doing everything the same just doesn't make sense because we all come from different places. We all have different financial situations. We all have different history, and we all have different ambitions and goals as it relates to our real estate purchases. So what Mike and Sharon do is they will take your story, they will listen to you, and then they will talk about the goals and the challenges within the goals to make sure you're not losing out on something that otherwise you might take. And sometimes that's where you can run into some challenges, right? If you only sell a certain product as a financial institution, that might be limiting. One of the things we talk about a lot, Michael, is that in this market, when you have let's say Wenatchee, and you have a $325,000 house, how many offers do you think we're going to see on that $325,000 house right now?
35 or more, some ridiculous number.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so all of a sudden we're seeing escalation addendums, which basically means I'll offer you $325,000, but I'll go to $400,000 if other people bid me up. So we have a bidding war. Well, it's great for sellers, and it's worth playing the game because sometimes you're willing to do that, especially with interest rates being so low that often the price you pay isn't as important as the interest you pay. So when we think about not buying today and waiting a year, we might be facing who knows what interest rate and higher prices, which is a double whammy. So what I like to say to people, I just did this to a friend of mine, I like to say, look where other people aren't looking. If 90% of the people are looking for a 3-bedroom house, it's $325,000, and you're going to get 40 offers on the table in one day. So maybe go look at the 2-bedroom house. Maybe go look at the 1-bedroom house. And one might instantly say, well, that's dumb. I have 3 kids. Okay, well, this is where you come in, Mike. What would you tell somebody that was willing to do a little extra effort and be a little creative with respect to your enhancement loan? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's a great point to bring up. As far as the enhancement loan, rehab, renovation, goes by a few different names. And basically, you can turn around and you can add a second or a third bathroom. I've had people add a second story on their house, remodel the kitchen. You can get septic updated. You can get electrical updated. You can take a house that anyone else might look at as a project or rundown or something that doesn't meet their initial needs and make it meet your initial needs, all while lowering the amount of buyers that you're going up against as far as being competitive. And just because you have some creative financing in your back pocket that other people may not know about, you could totally swoop in and grab the property and make it exactly what you want, while financing in all of the repairs or additions into the actual cost of the loan.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is imagination equals equity. And what I mean by that is if the house is retail shape, you're going to pay retail price. If the house is an ugly duckling, you might be able to come in and pay wholesale. And although it is expensive to build right now, so you do have to get some real bids and do some homework. But if I was in that market right now, I'd be looking for the ugly ducklings. That house with the horrible, kitchen, the house with a horrible roof, the house that has 1 bedroom but on a nice lot, and then go create what I really want. Now there's more steps involved and it's not as easy, but it's not as hard as you might think it is either if you get the people like PrimeLending in your corner. So, exactly. You told me a story about a guy who just did that on the west side, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in Port Townsend. He had the ability to pay cash for it, but it wasn't what he wanted at all. And he was very concerned. He loved the view. It was exactly what he wanted. The house just wasn't up to par. So he paid cash for it because he had just sold another home, turned around, and he's now doing what's called a renovation refinance. The same thing as if you were to purchase the home, the same steps are involved. And now he's adding 2 bedrooms, a bath, and a garage onto the property to make it exactly how he wants it.
Yeah, so there's a perfect example. It was like a 1-bedroom, shack, and everybody else probably went by it and said, "This is a piece of crap. I'm not buying that." And then because he had imagination and was willing to do a little homework and worked with PrimeLending and understood the process, he was able to create, to your words, exactly what he wanted on a beautiful lot. And all of a sudden, bam, he has equity instantly, which is kind of a lost art right now. I mean, that's so hard to do, to get equity instantly when you're in a seller's market. So anyway, just being creative and being open-minded and working with expert advisors that really do have your goals in mind and have more knowledge and are more versed in products, financial products, is, I don't know, it could be the difference maker in today's seller's market.
100%.
Yeah, we got about a minute left, Michael. What are rates doing right now? What do you expect to happen in the near future?
Right now, rates are hovering in those high 2s, low 3s. Everything's pretty steady as of right now. There's not a lot of ups and downs, big swings. We do expect them to rise over time, as good things have to come to an end at some point, which could in turn be helpful to buyers if people aren't getting these just incredibly low rates. That could help, just change things up a little bit, because things, as you know, having been in this business for so long, things constantly ebb and flow. But right now, still an amazing time to get in and take advantage of these historically low rates, but all signs point to them starting to increase in the future. So it's just a matter of time.
All right. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Hey, everybody, get outside. The sun's shining. Thanks, Michael, for calling in. As always, tough times don't last. We're getting through it, but tough people do, and you're getting through it. So I appreciate you tuning in. Have a fantastic week. Look forward to seeing you next time on Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends.
It's a bright new day, just came my way.